Hello, everyone, and I want to just introduce Angela Coleman, Associate Chief of the U.S. Forest Service, and thank her and the Forest Service for their support of the SAF 2021 convention. It's always a great opportunity to be able to have a chance to talk with Angela, so looking forward to just having a quick interview about some of the agency's priorities and how the Forest Service and SAF work together. So with that, thank you, Angela, for joining us, and we can just jump right into it and get some of your thoughts and see what questions you have for me as the CEO of SAF.
All right. Well, thank you so much for inviting me. It's good to be here. I wish that we could all be in the same place, but boy, technology is really helping us out. I was pretty impressed with your theme, Forest for All, for this SAF convention. Obviously, we love our partnership. It has certainly been one of those foundational ones for the agency. I thought about, though, how Forest for All really does feel resonant to the Forest Service today, because we really are embracing inclusivity and, lengthening and strengthening and stretching our tents to be more inclusive. And so I'd like to, just while we're talking about it, just kind of get a feel for why you guys chose that as your theme, and what are you hoping the message is for you for the convention?
Excellent. No, thank you so much. Yes, the theme is always a very fascinating conversation, and we have a national that works on for our convention. They work through the theme. Of course, I was involved in a little bit. It was a really interesting and worthwhile conversation. And I think the core of where we come down to the concept of Forest for All, there's so much that we've seen over the last and really 18 months with the pandemic, and what we've learned as far as a country when it comes to the value of our nation's forests and the value of forest products, but then also that piece of the folks who got out and recreated, the thing that wait, hey, I can go outside this. And it was, I heard there's folks who were like, they were to a new forest or national park or state park every weekend and just hiking somewhere new. And it was that piece of getting out and enjoying those natural areas. And so as we came up with the theme and thought about the theme last year, I think Forest for All really stuck for us from that standpoint, amongst others, is that piece of we all have a right, obviously with our national forests, all US citizens have a right to their national forest, but also we have a responsibility. And so that ability to educate and engage, all communities, those that have looked at forests as a can thrive, and those who may not realize it's a place where they can go and enjoy and thrive. And so when we think about our convention this year, there really is that space of how do we engage that broader audience? How do we showcase the value of these foods and in a way that resonates with them personally, because that is the beauty of our natural areas. So Forest for All really comes down to this concept of we all have a right and responsibility to these spaces and what they mean to us, what they mean to the climate, what they mean to the wildfire concerns, hurricanes, and sheer recreation and enjoyment. And so we're thankful to the Forest Service for the part play in providing Forest for All. So thank you.
Yeah,
and I'd be curious.
The leadership intention behind inclusion is all about connecting people to their lands. And I think we use the word awaken and strengthen people's connections to the land. And I think in the Forest Service that leadership intention has really kind of anchored us during the pandemic, kind of anchored us from when it comes to our hiring work, and it certainly has anchored us when it comes to access to services and being much more equitable and ensuring that our services meet a lot of needs. So it's really good when you can just say it, Forest for All or being inclusive, because it does send a very clear message about what the agency stands for. And I'm glad that SAF and the Forest Service can share that commitment. That's really, really very inspiring and encouraging.
Oh, very much so. And I'm glad that the agency is really taking that responsibility and jumping out in that space. And I love the way that you said it, concept of awakening, because it's as about folks awakening to the opportunities and the ability to engage in natural areas and policy and what that means. But it also, I think, it's spurring that next generation of stewards. And I know the service, great folks to bring in. And one of our relationships has been what we've called on-site hiring, and it's manifested in different ways, but really the opportunities to connect to the Forest Service when they graduate programs. And so it's a key piece for you doing that again this year. And with that, this concept of it's not just about enjoying the forest, but it's also being able to work in the forest.
Right.
And so not sure if there's any thoughts you have around how you're going to grow the workforce or what that looks like and in the coming years, but excited to hear any initial thoughts you might have about that.
Well, I do. Thanks for asking that. The Forest Service is at a juncture where we want to reflect the public that we serve. So, that's one of our goals, in that we want to make sure that we have people who look like America on our team. At the same time, we're also facing some major changes in what our capacity needs are going to be for the Forest Service going forward. We certainly can't use the same models that got us here, because the condition of forests, as we all saw with the wildfires, they kind of call for a little bit of a different way of approaching how we hire, where we hire. And then we learned a lot from the pandemic that, everybody, we don't necessarily all have to be housed in a singular office. So we're trying to apply those lessons now as we look forward, and we look forward to scaling up how we do work on the ground and having the capacity to do that. As people know, the Forest Service has spent a lot of money on fire suppression, and there's been a cost to that. We have about a 39% drop in our non-fire positions, and we need them. And so figuring out how to fill that capacity gap, as well as make sure that we have a stable firefighting workforce as well to do both the suppression work as well as helping us with work on the ground. That's kind of where we're going. We realize that we can't make a difference on the landscape doing it unit by unit. It has to be at the right scale, in the right places, to make a difference in reducing the fire threat and protecting communities. And most importantly, with that comes the resiliency of forests. And the workforce that we need in the future will be, the models that we use to hire people in the future will be translated to do that kind of work. Although I have to say too, though, Terry, we also recognize we cannot do it by ourselves. The emphasis on partnerships and external groups joining us to do this work on the ground will be critical.
Excellent. No, that sounds like quite the charge and challenge, and I know that you are definitely up for it. So we're at time, so we need to wrap things up. But again, I just really want to thank you, Angela, for spending some time with me, and of course the Forest Service, long unyielding support of SAF and the work that we do to support you as well. So with that, thank you very much, and we will look forward to seeing you at the convention.
It's been a great partnership. I look forward to continuing to work with SAF. I'm looking forward to being at the convention.
Thank you.
Thank you.